This is a serious topic that I think most resellers need to have a discussion with themselves going forward as we enter 2023. So let's talk about that on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and just a video I wasn't planning on making today. Simply was just gonna recover from the family being over for the weekend, which wasn't a bad thing. It was really cool, but we're back to business now, and the recovery period has to be short because we got to get stuff done. And you know, as I get messages from a lot of the viewers that watch, and I enjoy getting the messages, sometimes I'm not always on top of them, and I'm getting to them later than I'd like to. I get a lot of messages from people who are really concerned about their store, and they should be. You know, after I take a look at their store and evaluate what they have going on, it makes me wonder how many people out there are really just kind of winging it, just for lack of a better term, winging it. And it almost feels that way. You know, they tend to gravitate towards the things that they are comfortable with, and they're in a comfort zone where the number one problem I see is the sourcing. Where are they getting their items? What type of items are they selling? Many times I'll either get someone that's selling toys, which there's nothing wrong with toys, but they're selling toys, or they're selling just basic collectibles, random stuff that's collectible, or they label as vintage, and it very well may be, or clothing. Okay. Rarely do I get messages for help from people who are selling electronics, selling the things that are covering the needs, maybe health and beauty, that type of thing. I haven't had anyone contact me about shoes. And these are things that people need or / will make sacrifices for. People won't make sacrifices for some random vintage item that they thought was cool, but they can't afford, if that makes sense. And we talk about this a lot on the channel, but it boils down to, you know, one thing. What are you buying to resell? Going forward, guys, I can just tell there's going to be two ways, and really two ways to succeed on eBay. One is to scale up, and that means scale up big, and no cheating. You know, if you're averaging a $20 ASP, average sale price, that doesn't mean start loading your store up with $10 items. I'm talking about maintaining the level of goods and the type of sourcing that you're able to do, and just scale up. And if you're making $100 a day, let's say, maybe you're not even there, and maybe you were at 200 before and now sales are slow. Well, scaling up, if you scale the same kind of items and don't cheat, well, in theory, the math is going to take care of itself. And there's many stores out there that really have scaled up a lot. They're making $1,000 a day. The other way you can succeed in 2023 is by improving upon the goods you're selling. So you can maintain a 400, 500, 1,000 item store at the same levels you're basically dealing with now, but that's increasing the ASP, the average sale price of the items you're putting into your store. So if you're at 20, strive for 30. And that is going to be more difficult for some people because of sourcing isn't the easiest thing in this business. That's probably, for me, one of the toughest barriers to deal with. And for many of you as well. So there's really only one of two ways I see sellers succeeding going forward here. And there's going to be a lot of sellers that are going to be dropping off that just can't compete. And that is scaling your store, okay, without cheating, or finding higher ASP, more higher in demand need items versus, you know, you can think, well, maybe I'll buy some higher collectible items that are more wants, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about buying stuff that people actually need when times are hard. They will save for, they will cut something else out to buy because of this particular need, whether that's health and beauty, some electronics, right? We could find a bunch of cell phones at a good price that may be 4 or 5 years old. Well, guess what? Someone might have just broke their cell phone and aren't in the position to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for a new phone through their cell phone company. and then the alternative is to buy a secondhand phone. So these are things you have to think about. Which way do you want your store to go? Because there's only 3 ways, and based on this conversation, that you can get your store to go. And one would be scaling up, okay, building the size of your store, adding more value into your store while you're doing it. Don't scale up and add $5 and $10 items. Don't lower your ASP. The second way is find better items to sell. We've talked about that before on this channel. Higher ASP items, value, while maintaining the same level of inventory and value in your store, and you have that higher sell-through rate, okay? That's another way to do it. And the last way is to basically continue doing what you do and just wonder why you're falling behind. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Not everyone's going to survive in this business. It doesn't matter how you get there, guys. It doesn't matter what channel tells you to do it this way or what channel tells you to do it that way, okay? And I said it earlier, it's about scoreboard. And how do we keep score in this business, okay? It isn't the number of sales you've made today. It isn't the number of listings you've made today. It isn't even the amount of value you put in your store, if we're being honest. We talk about that's one way to get there, but that's not how you keep score in this game, guys. You keep score based on how much you make, okay? How much do you make at the end of the day after everything's paid for? Your shipping, your eBay fees, your cost of goods, your taxes. How much are you making at the end of the day? Is it enough? You have to answer that question for yourself. I can't help you with that question. But is it enough? And if it is, then keep doing what you're doing. But if it isn't enough, and there's many of you out there that are just trying to find a way to make ends meet, well, you have a lot of changing to do. And stop gravitating towards things you feel comfortable with, that you feel should be selling more than they are. Because guess what? Those toys you're selling, you can try all day long to make that work. And if you're doing it on a, let's say, average sale price of $10, and you're not scaling up, you're gonna get the same success, if that, with an economy that they say is only going to get worse. You know, guys, I don't have all the answers. I can only make my own observations. I am going to, for myself, try to, of course, do both. Add more ASP, and I'm going to have to scale up. And, of course, I'm running with limited room. That means stop buying a lot of the larger stuff, larger items, because if you have limited space, then for me, I need to buy smaller things that do sell. And, of course, I got a lot of shoes. I'm making room for the shoes that I'm selling. And went yard selling this weekend. We had at least 20 yard sales. People need money. And if the weather is permitting, there's a chance that you might have a yard sale coming up even this weekend in December, because people need money and they don't know how to resell, guys. They have stuff and they don't know how to get rid of it. And yard selling for many is the way to do it. And they're willing to get out there. And it was like 40 degrees, but there's people out there here in Vegas 8 in the morning that were selling their stuff. And I was glad to get out there, spend a couple $100. And it's about scaling up. It's about getting more stuff listed, more value into your store. That's what I'm going to do. Or if you can find higher ASP items, the same number of listings, but more value in your store, that's going to help out as well. Unfortunately, there's going to be a good number of people that just fail. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news on that, but it's going to happen. And it's going to be up to you. How serious are you? And you know, a lot of you might even say to yourself, you know what you're asking me to do is not possible. I can't source the way you do. I can't source the way other people do. And then they look to their right and they have a big death pile of stuff that they just refuse to list. Okay, so if you're one of those people who say, you know what, I can't scale the way you're asking me to scale my business, but you have a ton of stuff that you still haven't listed, the problem's with you, not the stuff you're able to buy. Okay, and if you are in a location where things aren't as plentiful, I don't have a great sourcing area here, I don't think so, but there's ways to get merchandise, guys. Yard sales was one way. I know yard sale season is over for most people, but you still have Facebook Marketplace, you still have the Nextdoor app, you still have OfferUp. People are trying to get rid of stuff, okay? People need money. And I'm more than happy to go in, offer someone 10 bucks for something that's going to make me 50. That 10 bucks is going to help them out a little bit, and that 50 bucks is going to help me out once that item sells. But, you know, watch a lot of the videos. It doesn't even have to be this channel. Learn what works for other people. Adhere to some of this advice that either I'm giving you or other people are giving you, and follow through, guys. Follow through. Each and every person has to own up to their own success, and it ain't going to get any easier going forward. So guys, I want your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this content. What are you going to do moving forward? And again, I asked this on a live stream about a week or so ago. What is your plan for 2023? In my mind, there's only three paths, guys, and one's to failure. I think if you continue doing the same thing that you're doing, expecting similar results as you got last year or years before, because the economy ain't going to help you out. Until things get better with that, we're going to be having to do everything we can to adapt. And if you're not adapting in this market, in this business, it's going to be a very tough road for you. And I hate to say it, but that's just the way it is. So, of course, like the video if you guys are this far. Appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the videos I put out. And, of course, hit that notification bell so when I go live, which I plan on doing on Monday, tomorrow, 3 p.m., you guys can be a part of it. Making difficult decisions, making changes to adapt to the market, this bad economy, just yet another sign of how sometimes in this business, flipping ain't easy. I want you guys to have an excellent start to your week, and we will talk to you very soon.